Hello students. So today's class I am going to explain about the chemical properties of sulfuric acid. This is given in the page number 78. Look at that page number. First reaction is decomposition reaction. Sulfuric acid on decomposition it gives water and sulfur trioxide. Acidic nature of sulfuric acid. So actually it is a dibasic acid. Why it is considered as a dibasic acid? Because if you see the structural formula of sulfuric acid, it contains there are two hydroxyl groups. Therefore, it is a dibasic acid. Suppose any acid is considered as a tribasic acid, it may contains three hydroxyl groups, and also it forms two types of salt with any salt. For example, sulfuric acid, when it reacts with 1 mole of sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium bisulfate, whereas it reacts with 2 moles of sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium sulfate. Sodium bisulfate that forms with 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. Sodium sulfate forms with 2 moles of sodium hydroxide when it reacts with the sulfuric acid. Similarly, sulfuric acid when it reacts with ammonia, it gives ammonium sulfate. And next one is the oxidizing nature of, otherwise oxidizing property of sulfuric acid. Oxidizing property. Why it is a strong oxidizing agent? Because sulfuric acid on decomposition it releases the nascent oxygen atom. Due to the releasing nature of nascent oxygen atom, it can act as a strong oxidizing agent. For example, carbon, it can be oxidized with sulfuric acid into carbon dioxide. Sulfur, it oxidized by sulfuric acid into sulfur dioxide. Similarly, hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide, it is oxidized into sulfur. And sulfuric acid, it oxidizes hydrogen iodide into iodine. Otherwise, even sulfuric acid, it oxidizes hydrogen bromide into bromine, as well as phosphorus. Sulfuric acid, it oxidizes phosphorus into phosphoric acid. So, any two examples you can write for according to the marks. But at the same time, the first equation, you must write the first equation, because in this equation only you can show that the releasing of nascent oxygen atom. And next one is reaction with metals. Sulfuric acid reacts with metals like zinc and aluminium, and it forms zinc sulfate and aluminium sulfate, and hydrogen gas will be liberated out. At the same time, sulfuric acid when it reacts with copper as well as lead, it releases sulfur dioxide is a side product. That is very, very important. With zinc and aluminium, it releases hydrogen gas along with zinc sulfate and aluminium sulfate. Whereas with copper and lead, copper sulfate and lead sulfates are main product, and the gas released is sulfur dioxide in these two cases. So that you remember it. And next one is reaction with salts. So when it reacts with potassium chloride, it gives potassium bisulfate and hydrogen chloride. Similarly, it reacts with nitric acid, it gives potassium bisulfate and the potassium nitrate, it converts into nitric acid. And sulfuric acid, when it is treated with sodium carbonate, it gives sodium sulfate and carbon dioxide. With sodium bromide, it gives sodium bisulfate and bromine will be liberated and sulfur dioxide. So these are the reaction with the salt. And next reaction is how it reacts with benzene. It reacts with benzene to form benzene sulfonic acid. In your textbook, even the formula of benzene will be given. C6H6 will be given, and the equation C6H6 plus H2SO4. In that way, the reaction may be given. But here I have written the structural formula of benzene, and benzene it changes into benzene sulfonic acid. Okay. And next one is test for sulfate. This is the 2-mark question. How do you test sulfate or sulfuric acid? When sulfate or sulfuric acid is treated with barium chloride, a white precipitate of barium sulfate will be formed. Otherwise, one more test is there. Sulfuric acid when it is treated with the lead acetate, CH3COO twice Pb, that is lead acetate, it gives white precipitate of lead sulfate. With barium chloride, it gives barium sulfate, that is a white precipitate. With lead acetate, sulfuric acid gives lead sulfate, that also white precipitate. This is very, very important 2-mark question. Test for sulfate or sulfuric acid. And before we are going to see the uses of sulfuric acid, First, let us see the structure of oxo acids of sulfur. Here, in this case, there are so many sulfuric oxo acids are given. First one is sulfurous acid, H2SO3. And you can see the structural formula. There are two hydroxyl groups. So, therefore, it is what? That is a dibasic acid, and it has a coordinated bond with one oxygen atom. And in all the oxo acid, it is very, very important one. Sulfur must coordinated bond with minimum one oxygen atom. That you have to remember it, because when you draw the structure, this is very, very important point. You must remember that. Sulphuric acid H2SO4. So only one oxygen atom is the difference. That oxygen atom also, it is bonded with a double bonded oxygen with the sulfur. So this is the comparison of the structure of sulfurous acid and sulphuric acid. And next one is a thiosulphuric acid. The formula H2S2O3. The same way, thio represent one more sulfur is present. Sulphuric acid already the formula is H2SO4. Apart from that one more sulfur is present. Therefore, it is called as what? Thiosulphuric acid. Here also, so there are two hydroxyl groups are bonded. Therefore, this is the dibasic acid, and one the middle sulfur, the center sulfur atom, it is coordinated with one sulfur atom and one oxygen atom. And next one is the dithionous acid. The formula is H2S2O4. And look at this structure. And next one is the dithionic acid. The formula is H2S2O5. And very, very small difference in the structure. So you have to get the practice by writing the structure and see. Okay, then only you can easily identify what is the difference between the structures of these all the oxo acid. And here some more oxo acids also given. One is disulfuric acid. And the formula is H2S2O7. Otherwise it is also called as what? Oleum. And here also you must remember that the center sulfur atom, that is bonded with coordinated with two oxygen atoms in the upper side as well as at the bottom. Also it is bonded with the two oxygen atoms in the coordination bond. In the middle, one bridging oxygen atom that bridges the two sulfur atoms. And next one is peroxy monosulfuric acid. The formula is H2SO5. Okay, so this is the structural formula for that one. And similarly, other three oxo acids are given. One is what? Mersel's acid, otherwise peroxo disulfuric acid. The Mersel's acid, this is the one word question. So what is the other name for peroxo disulfuric acid? Mersel's acid. Formula is given. Maybe the formula will be asked, otherwise the name will be asked. And next one is a dithionic acid. So previously we had discussed about the dithionic acid, and here dithionic acid with the formula H2S2O6. And here this is the structural formula is given, and it is what? So what is the difference between the dithionic acid and here the dithionic acid with the formula H2S2O6? Only one difference is there, that is the extra coordinated oxygen and sulfur with a double bonded oxygen is given. And polythionic acid, the formula is H2S, in the suffix it is given N+2 and O6. And here this is the structural formula. This may be asked for one word. Okay, remember that. Now the last point is uses of sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid that is used in the manufacturing of fertilizers and ammonium sulfate and superphosphate, and also it is used as a drying agent, and that is used in the preparation of pigments, and also what? It is highly explosives, etc. Okay, so this is the uses of sulfuric acid. That's all.